High-level Dungeons & Dragons might let you bend reality and perform feats of godlike power, but there's this hidden gem in the low levels that offers unforgettable adventures that I don't think gets enough appreciation. So for all of my fellow DMs out there today, I want to talk about why I love low-level Dungeons & Dragons. So first of all, low-level D&D is just easier for new players, right? There's just quite simply less rules and less complications staring back at you from that character sheet. And for new players, there's already so much to have to learn, and low-level D&D just lends itself to a new player by limiting the options you have to choose from for your actions and your resources. Now easily one of my favorite reasons low-level D&D is simply that it's just more realistic. I mean, think about it. When you fire an arrow at a guard and you deal 9 points of damage, they only have 2 HP left. They are on death's door, and taking an arrow or a bolt to the chest would probably kill you. Now, you might get it in the leg or the arm instead, and that's where rolling lower on the dice comes in for flavoring. If you only did 4 points of damage, well, it got him in the shoulder. If you critted for 20 points, well, you got him in the head. Low-level combat inherently feels more realistic when every attack that you deal can bring down an enemy to its knees. And after all, getting hit by an arrow or a crossbow bolt would probably hurt really bad, if not kill you. And low-level D&D just helps reflect that sort of realism, because realistically, how many arrows or bolts would you have to take before you actually go down? Obviously, there are bigger and tougher enemies, but generally, they are only a few blows away from being downed. And that's what makes that low level of combat so exciting, because you are also only 1 or 2 hits away from dropping, which leads us to number 3. There's always a sense of doom or stakes. Any tavern you enter or any combat you get into could be your last. Enemies are stronger, they're tougher, they're scarier, when at any moment you could take a dagger to the back or an arrow to the knee.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
The fragility of your character heightens the tension in every encounter. Each decision that you make as a player is crucial, as one wrong move can lead to absolute disaster for you. Simply by being low level, by having less abilities, less HP, those games become more dangerous, and ultimately, as a player, you just become more invested. In low-level D&D, every fight feels more intense and consequential. The thrill of knowing that your next battle could be your last keeps players on their toes and super engaged, and that level of danger makes every single victory that they get feel that much sweeter, and every escape becomes a story. And I think that is the beauty of having those low-level encounters. And overall, an enemy that can do a 4th or 5th level spell now looks stronger and helps sell that whole I'm a boss thing just that much more, even though we as DMs and as players know that there are 4 more levels of spells. That 4th level spell, that 5th level spell becomes more powerful because you as a player are lower level. I think that really helps tip the scales to make it just feel more real, make the world feel more relatable to us, since we come from a world with no magic, without taking away magic entirely. So if you're looking for something in the middle between a low magic and a high magic setting, levels 1 through 10 D&D is probably the sweet spot. Now, if you really want to heighten the overall stakes or sense of doom for a game, you do it with mood. So give me just a few seconds, let me talk to you about today's sponsor, Describe. Describe is this amazing platform, you guys, that lets you choose from thousands of music tracks and ambient sounds and special effects like roars and cannon blasts, and add them all to a single block of text where you can manage all of your notes right there, right next to everything that you have ready for that encounter. And they even have these amazing battle maps too that are just so beautifully made, and some of them even come with transitions for morning or night or battle scarred or not. And switching out any of that stuff is as easy as just clicking it, so you can be in the middle of a session and you can switch it out right there without your players ever knowing. It really is an amazing program that I started using for all of my sessions. You're probably going to see it come up in any of the games that I start to run in the future. I cannot speak highly enough about them. Go check them out. Check out the link in the description and use my code FANTASYFORGE when you check out. Now moving right along, low levels also just lead to faster combat. Because there's fewer abilities and fewer spells to juggle, combat just becomes quicker and more streamlined, and this keeps the game moving, which allows for more encounters, and also just better sessions, more dynamic sessions that just hold everyone's attention. Battles don't drag on, which keeps the excitement and the tension high, since things are constantly changing, and players can spend more time exploring the world and interacting with NPCs and developing their characters and doing what they want to do, rather than being bogged down in super lengthy combat sequences. Unless that's your thing, then you go do that. And lastly, and probably the best part, is the focus on creativity and resourcefulness. Without access to those high-level spells and powerful abilities, Players have to rely on their ingenuity to solve problems and overcome those obstacles. It's easy to cast Fly and go wherever you need to, or dispel the magic traps that are in your way, or just wave your hand and magic away the curses and the diseases. At low levels, they can't cast as powerful spells to get through those tough situations, and instead they usually have to use the environment to their advantage to create a clever plan or find unconventional uses for their equipment. And that's where those fun magical items come in, like the immovable rod or the bag of holding. And all of that just sort of helps bring the party together more and create some of the most memorable moments when you're trying to use a sword attached to a rope to get across a ravine and weird things like that. And even when they fail, because that's just part of it, that is D&D, right? You're letting things go according to how the dice roll. And now, what I'm not saying is that high-level games can't be any of the above. That's just not true. But high-level games take practice, especially on the part of the DM. Running a high-level encounter that is balanced and that also feels like it fits in your world and it makes sense, that's super hard. As players, it's often our goal to become that level 20 god, right? Especially when reading about those abilities that always seems so far away, and we don't want to take away from that feeling of hearing the DM tell you that you finally leveled up, but maybe, just maybe, it's okay to appreciate the level that you're at right now. So there you have it. Those are 5 reasons why I love low Dungeons & Dragons gameplay. I think it's just the best. So let me know in the comments down below, do you prefer high or low level combat, and what do you do to help make low level combat stay fun? And now it's time for some shoutouts. Deadly6 Studios 922 says, give him a pet for me. Well, you know what? Tobias will get all the pets just from you. Jacob Roth 1476 says, sweet Tobias, who's a good boy. I love that it started out with Tobias being a cat, and now it's slowly transitioned to Tobias just being like almost like a dog. Do you say good boy to cats? Am I the weirdo? Kieran Bingley 5981 says, the cutest little kitten is hiding at 219. I've only just begun writing my first campaign, and I'm so excited to share it with my friends, and seeing their excitement when building their characters got me hyped as well. Love the vibes all around. Honestly, yeah, building the characters is probably one of my favorite things to do. It's kind of where you start to stamp in the story, where this idea starts to become real, because now you have characters that are starting to fill in the gaps and fill in those roles that you didn't know you needed. And personally, I think that the character design and building those characters with your players is where the world really starts to flesh itself out and your story really starts to fall into place. Everything before that is just an idea. Now, if you were paying attention in today's video, leave a timestamp in the comments down below with where you saw Tobias in this video, because yes, he was there, and you just might get shouted out in the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Forge on, my friends, and we'll see you next time, adventurers.